Everybody, whether they are successful or not, has an inner critic in their heads that judges them, doubts them, belittles them, and that is always telling them that they are not good enough. The difference between successful people and everyone else is they've learned to ignore this inner critic and eliminate negative self-talk. They understand that everything that they say to themselves matters. Unfortunately, your inner critic stops you from pursuing the life you truly want to live. Here are several of the top ways to stop the negative self-talk in its tracks. Recognize the critic. You have to become aware of your inner critic if you want to be able to gain control over it. Much of our thinking happens automatically and so quickly that we barely notice it. This means that you will have to make the conscious effort to slow down and pay attention to what you are thinking. This will help you notice when the critic is present. Separate yourself from the critic. Your inner critic thrives best when you mistake it for being part of your authentic self. To separate yourself from this critic, you need to give it a name. You can give it any name you want, like the nag. The important thing is that by separating it from your own identity, you are essentially freeing yourself from its influence. Talk back to it. The only way to take away your inner critic's power is by talking back to it. You merely have to tell it that you don't want to hear what it is saying. Speaking back to it begins to give you the sense that you have a choice in the matter. When the critic starts to talk, just tell it to go away, and that you refuse to listen. Replace the critic. The best way to defeat the critic once and for all is to have an even stronger ally on your side. You need to work on growing an inner voice that acts like your best friend rather than your enemy. To do this, you need to begin seeing all the good things about yourself. You have to acknowledge that you do have positive traits and that you can accomplish anything. To break the cycle of negative self-talk, you have to make a conscious effort to recognize your inner critic and change the way you interact with it. By eliminating negative self-talk from your life, you will start to see a dramatic shift in your mindset and be able to find success in everything that you do.